This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, here we go. Hour number 2. We're ready to rock and roll. Coming to you live from the beautiful KSDT CPA offices here in Doral, which, as you can see back there, man, that's a beautiful, beautiful backdrop there. And there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Manny Navarro. Manny, how you feeling, baby?
Feeling great. Oh, how are you doing?
Very good. I'm here at KSDT in Dadeland. Where are you? You're home?
I'm at home right now. Yeah, I got a lunch at about 12:15, 12:30 over there in Doral, actually, meeting one of my childhood friends who's visiting here from California. So we're going to have a little lunch and then back to work, brother. You know how it is. Spring game tomorrow.
That's right. But before we get to that, we do have some visitors, right? Are there some visitors coming into Coral Gables?
Well, I mean, there's probably 10 or 15 of the elite kids from all over the place coming to watch the spring game tomorrow. And then Miami, of course, is working that transfer portal, hoping that Amarius Mims shows up today as scheduled. He's the 5-star offensive tackle who left Georgia, visiting Tallahassee right now up at Florida State. The feeling coming out of Florida State, and I don't, I haven't spoken to anybody myself, but the reports coming out of the Seminoles writers is that Mims is not going to end up coming to Miami, and he's just going to sign with Florida State and stay up there, which in a lot of ways, though, going into this entire situation makes the most sense because, A, Florida State's offensive line is horrendous. They need anybody right now at offensive tackle, so the opportunity for this kid to come in and play right away and be an important part for them it makes more sense than coming here to Miami where he'll have some competition. He left Georgia because he wasn't going to be able to play offensive tackle. And I'd say the other aspect is, he's from Georgia. Tallahassee's a lot closer to Georgia and his family than it is Miami. So if the Hurricanes don't end up with him, yeah, shucks, wish you could have gotten a kid like that, but it's also not devastating. I don't think Miami's offensive line is in a precarious position or as a precarious position as Florida State's. They really need that kid up there. So from the get-go, I thought, they were the favorites in my mind. At this point, if he comes to Miami, which Miami still hopes he comes down here for a visit, I checked in yesterday with that topic. If he comes in, then great. If he doesn't come, you got to beat him on Saturday, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And who else is? What other big names are coming to see the scrimmage?
Well, you have Anthony Hill. He's a kid whose father grew up in Marathon. He's a 5-star linebacker out of Texas. He is, I guess, the premier of all the kids. You have a lot of local kids as well. Jalen Brown, who's a 5-star receiver out of Miami Gulliver Prep, one of the fastest receivers in the country. I mean, there's a long list of kids. Oh, I mean, tomorrow when we get there, we'll be taking head counts and seeing all the kids that are there. But just know that Mario's done a phenomenal job all spring. I mean, every practice there's been kids on campus from everywhere, Texas, California. I mean, just everywhere they've been coming down to watch practices, and his staff has done a great job getting the kids there because so much of it really, is just getting them in the door, getting them here to watch a practice, to see the way that they sort of operate is so pivotal if you're really going to have a chance to sign that kid. And we know, look, you can commit now. This thing doesn't become reality till December. So it's a long chase. You get them in the door. You get them to come back over the summer for, your Legends camp. You get them to come on an official visit at some point, and then they make their decisions, and then you hope that they actually sign the piece of paper in December.
Yeah, I hope so, man. That's obviously some of these players look like they're guys that you want to keep here, and they've got the potential to obviously lift this program. I'm just wondering, what's the buzz inside the building from some of the coaches when they hear some of the other programs around the country kind of complain about what's going on with the NILs right now?
Well, I mean, listen, we're still in an area where I don't think there's enough regulation on it. There's not enough sort of rules in place. So it's kind of a Wild West. And if you have a guy like John Ruiz who can sign, more than half of your scholarship players to NIL deals and pay them well, that's a huge advantage for Miami, and you got to keep playing that card as best you can. Um, that doesn't mean, like you said, there aren't haters out there, right? There aren't people coming after you. And there's one situation in particular with this West Virginia kid who Miami is after, the defensive lineman Akeem Mesidor, who at last check yesterday when I asked somebody in Miami's office, the feeling was that this is a kid that they're going to end up getting. And I think there's some permutations of what's the word I'm looking for, tampering. The people have been saying that, oh, Miami was reaching out to this kid before, and that's a serious violation. It's a level 2 violation that would carry some weight. But I think at this point, I think Miami's ready to take the kid. It's hard. It's something hard to prove, I guess, if you're West Virginia or some other program. In the end, though, that's the area. I've mentioned that word tampering to you, I think, before in the past. That's the next frontier besides NIL, is when do schools start turning each other in for early contact in terms of recruiting kids to their programs. That's going to become an issue here, I think, in college football in the next year.
That's it's interesting. All right, so we got the spring game tomorrow. Obviously, there's a buzz, dude, because it's sold out. Which I think that's the only game that's going to sell out this year at Dry Pink Stadium.
Yeah, they're having a little problem winning games over there, aren't they?
Yeah. Although that was a really nice performance against New England. We'll see if that was an aberration or not on Saturday night in Seattle. We'll see if the youngins can play like they play, because they look good on Saturday. That was fun, actually, to watch. But, they haven't been a good team. But what a buzz, dude. I mean,
yeah. Well,
to sell that place out, that's 19,000 there, man. That's pretty cool.
Well, we'll see. Free tickets. Nobody really paid anything to go out there. They are selling more season tickets. I will say that. That's been reported. I think Barry Jackson, the Herald, reported that that more season ticket sales are going through. I think tomorrow's going to be a fun day for a lot of people because they want to see Mario. Think about it.
Right.
I mean, he hasn't really been out anywhere publicly in the sense that fans have been able to cheer him and so forth. So tomorrow's that sort of first opportunity to be around Mario and what he's brought in from a coaching perspective. So there's a lot of excitement. I think people will be tailgating out there, etc. Should be interesting afternoon. But I think from a football perspective, very vanilla. Okay, don't expect what was it, a double reverse flea flicker that they ran against Pittsburgh. We're not going to see any of that stuff. But we'll see a lot of base tackling, and you'll see a lot of Tyler Van Dyke throwing the ball deep down the field and connecting with his receivers, and you probably see a better running game. So there'll be a lot to watch tomorrow. Me personally, man, like. The tackling is the most important thing for me. I want to see guys wrap up tomorrow. That I know it seems stupid and simple, but blocking and tackling, just like Mario said yesterday in his press conference after practice, blocking and tackling, man. Let's see it done the right way.
Dude, there's nothing stupid about that or silly or ridiculous or anything about that. Why? This team hasn't been fundamentally sound in years, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know anything about just sports in general, there has to be a level of fundamentals to it, dude. You have to have a proper stance in the batter's box. You've got to be fundamentally sound how you're going to block somebody or how you're going to cover somebody on a basketball court. There is a fundamental approach to anything and everything that you do in sports. And unfortunately, the Canes haven't been coached well. And basically, that's what you're saying. You haven't seen a team, you have not covered a team lately on the field that is coached well. And I think that's basically what you're saying. I'd like to see a team that isn't committing stupid penalties, that knows how to actually block somebody, that knows how to open up a hole, that isn't doing, that isn't celebrating on the sidelines when things are going bad. I get what you're saying, dude. There's not one bit of that doesn't make any sense. It all makes sense.
Oh yeah, I just think from a fan perspective, when you say block and tackle, they kind of roll their eyes, right? They kind of like, oh, we should be able to do that, but you take it for granted when they don't do it right. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, so what are we looking for if we're Canes fans? All right, now we're gonna sit in Manny Navarro's eyes. Give me
Mm-hmm.
3 things that Manny Navarro is focused in on, and he thinks these are important things outside of course, tackling.
Mm-hmm.
But other things that you're talking about right now that you think are gonna be talking points and things you're gonna end up writing about,
Sure.
in a couple days.
Well, number one, how did the receivers look? In terms of their chemistry with Tyler Van Dyke. You got to replace Charleston Rambo and Mike Harley. You don't have Will Mallory out there. Which of these young receivers goes out there and makes the tough catches? Charleston Rambo made a lot of tough catches last year,
Yeah.
where he was getting hit and manhandled. Who's the guy? Is it Xavier Restrepo? Is it Jacoby George? We won't have the answer to the fall, but I want to see how these guys look, because seeing them in 11-11 for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, you're not getting enough picture of that. You want to see what happens when the drive stalls, when they need a third down, when there's situational type football. You want to see who kind of rises to the top and makes the play. Last year, if you remember the spring game, Charleston Rambo I think had a stretch where he caught 4 or 5 passes in a row, and we're all like, whoa, right? Remember that last year
Yeah.
in the spring
Yeah, I
game?
remember. Yeah.
So I want to see if anybody, maybe it's Jacoby George or Xavier Strebo, but I want to see which one of those guys sort of has maybe one of those moments where we're blown away by how good they are catching the football. They're going to need that if this offense is going to score a lot of points. Then I want to look at some of the freshmen. I want to see Wesley Basaint, Cyrus Moss, 2 of those guys, young guys on defense. They're going to be a big part of the future. I want to see how they look. Are they ready to contribute? Is Jaleel Skinner at tight end really ready to contribute and be a real part of the rotation? You get these guys in early. Obviously a guy like Ja'Cory Brown, the quarterback, won't play because he's got Jake Garcia and Tyler Van Dyke ahead of him. But how does he look? Does he look like he's ready in a year from now to be a guy who could compete for the starting job? So those kind of questions with the youth, the new arrivals, a lot of the transfers, unfortunately, for whatever reason, surgery, different issues that they've been dealing with. But I want to see how some of the transfers look, as well. So the newcomers, transfers, etc. And then I'd say the last thing, the pass rush. Last year Miami wasn't very good at getting after the quarterback, not as good as they were before when they had Gregory Rousseau and Jalen Phillips. We've heard a lot about Jafari Harvey. I want to see him get to the quarterback. I want to see it in a game type setting. Not just scrimmage reports that he's doing great. I want to see, do they have that lead guy now who can be the pass rusher? Those three things from a personnel perspective, I guess I'll be looking at.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. What are you working on? Anything else on the Athletic so folks can check it out?
Yeah, well, these Wayward program series, there's been some good ones. Virginia Tech one just came out. UCLA, mine is USF is going to be sometime next week. I think the 19th is when ours comes out. Chris Vanini and I worked on that together. So that'll be coming out soon. And then, I'll be at the game tomorrow. I'll be sharing my thoughts. I'll come out with, my own list of re-ranking the top 50 players. I did that before in this the spring ever got started, before the workouts even got started. I'll re-rank the players. That'll be coming out sometime next week. And just typical coverage, man, at the Athletic. A lot of good reads that are on there, man. Again, I keep telling people, don't sign up just for the Hurricanes coverage. If you love college football, you want to know about the competition, how everybody else is doing as well. $1 a month right now to sign up and read all those great stories. You have a lot of great writers there. So I'll have my Kane stuff and other stuff, recruiting stuff, and transfer, all that kind of stuff will be going on there as the news breaks. But if you really want to get into college football, it's a great deal.
By the way, I'll wrap it up with this. No matter what happens for the rest of this offseason, outside, of course, of major injuries, there's no reason Miami should not be in the ACC championship game, right? I mean, there's no reason not to win the Coastal, right?
I think the only reason would be if Pittsburgh's quarterback, whoever that ends up being, the starting quarterback, plays as well as the guy did last year. And I think if he does,
But that shouldn't be the case either.
That shouldn't be the case either. But I'm just telling you that is there one team that can beat Miami in the Coastal this year? Yes, it's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, it was a hell of a game last year. Miami won up there. I mean, I think that coaching staff does a great job. They're the only team, I think, in the Coastal Division that can beat Miami. Now, we'll see what happens. That's the last game of the regular season. But my expectation is Miami will be in the ACC championship game because they have Pittsburgh at home. They have the veteran quarterback. They have They're going to be better on the offensive line. They should be better at tackling. I think they should win the division and probably play Clemson.
I like Mario, and I think he's going to do good things here. But the pressure starts right away. Mario, you got to be in the ACC championship game. No, I'm not asking you to win the ACC, which I think you can also do that, by the way. But no less than winning the Coastal and being in the conference game.
I agree.
Enough is enough already. The line in the sand has to be drawn already. You've got to be. You're the kind of program that you need to be in the championship game on a consistent basis, and it has to start with this year. So let's hope they can get it done. Follow them on Twitter. You see it right there, Manny_Navarro. And again, subscribe to The Athletic and get it for like $1 a month right now, which is a freaking joke to get the local and national coverage and international coverage too, with a little football mixed in there. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Enjoy the scrimmage. Enjoy the weekend. We'll catch up on Tuesday.
All right, brother. Take care. See you.
Got it. There you go. Manny Navarro and our Canes wear Miami Hurricanes report.